Hello everybody, I'm Dune and this is another episode of Factorio Megabase. Uh, we were just streaming and I realized I had no video showing up. Factorio just updated to 1648 and somehow in that update my game capture disappeared. So we streamed roughly 20 minutes of me deciding that I needed to update the LDS Outpost. We already kind of knew this was coming. We'll remove that expansion reserve thing. We did that once, episode or two back, and we're going to do it again this episode. We just have not enough production just to handle what we've got going with satellites and our new space science outpost. So I've already assembled all the materials. That was done while I had a blank screen going, and all we had was audio, which is unfortunate that some of that material is not visible, and I probably am not going to put the audio only up on YouTube, but it will be on here on Twitch for 2 weeks. I think they keep my videos, so if you want to go back and listen to it, it will be the one with the same title as this, and won't have an episode name, but it will be of June 7th date. Anyway, so I can't do it while this train is coming in, but I am going to back my train up and create a track over here. And I'm going to set the manual. Hopefully we can get back there without being crunched, which is a negative at the moment. But the station 2 is now at 1.3, so we ought to be able to get back there before another train comes in. Well, in fact, now that we're back there, we're probably keeping the signals from updating. Slow down a little bit, see if I can get this. Nope. Probably should have done that before we started moving. So anyways, this track will be there. I'm not doing anything that won't be there, but in the meantime we can technically we really can't build anything. Because this track won't be there. I was explaining, I have circuits on my deconstruction planner. I was talking about one of the things is we forgot to name the rocket fuel station, and we did that with a blueprint without having to travel there. So I was talking about the various things you could do with blueprints. Anyways, we got to remove some track because our new outpost is going there. In fact, we're going to need to remove those trees. This whole area right here is just about to be stepped on. I guess the first thing we're going to do is fix our stacker. So I set that down. Technically, probably trains can continue to use that. But let's just I don't know how much track we got. 500 or so should be enough to continue to do. This build, I guess we can just leave it like so. we switch in our other building uniform that has more power available. It's certainly can't keep up with a full build like this, but having 2 extra portable fusion reactors, it is certainly better than having 2. Okay, so that should get that track updated, and then we get this track along the edge updated. And our trains will be able to pick up again. We just got to be careful about not being run over. Rather unfortunate where I don't think we can fit a 4th one in here. So if we need to do more low density structures at some point, we're going to have to find a better place for that. Now our train's going to be in the way. So we're still not going to be able to pick up supplies. Things requiring low density structures are just going to be on hold for a minute. Which includes our main base. I'll just click that whole thing. And see what we can do with that. And no power. It's just because we don't have enough small power poles. I didn't bring enough. And I doubt I can craft the 100 plus needed. Craft 50 of them. You know, actually I can craft everything we need because these stations have both the steel and copper needed. I'll have to walk over there to get them, but we'll be able to do that. This will be station 3. We can set that. There's some more circuits up there to concern ourselves with. Grab those guys. Let's see here. I think we're done. We might. We don't really have room to expand the stacker because of this. We could. You can't really push train track, parallel track up just like one space. I mean, obviously, yes, you can draw a track there, but you can't connect it. You know, this is really the distance to connect. Otherwise, you have to do weird, squirrely stuff to try to get that. We could probably put 1 or 2 roads in, though. So, looks like we got the train fuel train there as well. So, we will grab some track. And how are we on signals? Pretty good. And I'm going to send the train to LDS station. Get it out of the way. hopefully we can, well, I mean, hopefully the trains will work, and in the meantime we will switch to our faster armor, though its fuel cells are depleted, or, you know, the legs, energy, and roboports, and so forth. So anyways, we are getting necessary needs to handcraft more power poles. So that's going to handcraft 100. Grab this little bit. Try not to grab too many circuits there. Just trying to get the station names. So that should fix all those station names. Right. And then do the same thing with this one. Take, why not? Hold shift or anything? You. Why aren't you copying and pasting? Oh, because when I copied it, I didn't take the station name. Dink. It's not on by default. There we go. We do need. Where's our master controls? Right, so we need to copy that. We could run over there. I'm just going to set that down. And then change the N to a 3. This is kind of what I was explaining before. And then copy that. And then we can place that down. And now the N's a 3. We don't have to run over there and do it. Of course, I've always known that trick was available, and I don't always remember to do it. Neat thing about blueprints, it's a relatively painless thing to duplicate. That's probably one of the crazy favorite things I love about this game. You don't have to, I mean, yeah, hand build the first one, modify the second one, maybe copy one or the other to another place, modify it, but eventually, you know, you get one place, it's working, you just copy and paste it down, and you have a second one. Alright, I've got things blinking over here. Well, they blinked for a second. I don't know. So we do need to start 3 new trains. So even though I got copper and stuff coming in, and actually let's copy the steel train since we have a steel here. And as soon as he leaves, we'll put a train in its place. I'm going to change this copy train to manual so it doesn't run off before we need to copy. And you should do the same thing with that plastic. And we can copy the Magic. Busy little bees. Whoa, train coming in. Copy you. Turn you back to automatic. Let's go into copper or plastic load 2. How are you doing over here? Still 400k. I'll continue to use you then. I'm gonna grab your car there. Switch the engine. Paste, paste. Gotta paste each engine to change their colors. And then send the train on. Alright, another 3 trains in the system. We wanted to increase the stacker a little bit, so let's move up there and do that. I'm not going to be able to increase it as much as I'd like to. Well, actually, we kind of maybe could. What could be done. So we kind of create a second stacker. We do this to say like this. And then we would create another stacker. Wherever they are in my list. Like so. And as long as we were able to get that in there, we could do it. And it does fit. I mean, we'd have to run these power lines in a different place. Pop all that out of there. And we do the same thing here. Key is we want a chain signal before the stacker. There's supposed to be a chain signal here too, but there isn't. So there is such a thing as ugly. But sometimes you just must deal with it. So we have 3 facilities now going. Our average is above our 1.6. Even with a value of only just 100 or so a minute ago, but it's cranking up there. So I think we did the right thing. Going with another expansion there. Turns out we didn't need this fuel. We can add it there. Crane. AFK brief second. Actually, I'm just turning around in my chair, but I have a water dispenser right behind me. You know, one of those 5-gallon dispenser things. When I first got out, I was like, where am I going to put this dispenser? Turns out right behind my computer chair is a fantastic place. I don't have to go anywhere when I need some slake my thirst. Oh, traffic jam up. I mean, it's not jammed, it's just trying to get vehicles through that tight area. It's always been a conundrum. It's actually one thought to the matter of, you know, moving these smelting stations more towards the border, because you're constantly trying to get ore to them and then the plate back out. If you had those smelting facilities near the edge, then there'd be less of that traffic. And as my station or base continues to grow, do something like that. And we don't have enough supplies for those solar builds there. Could bring more supplies there. Disconnect that. Oh, it's so nice that train turns when you want it to. I kind of like putting some of these things in. I mean, last episode we put solar here. You know, it was an unused location. Now we have room for more solar, say here. You know, probably 3 of those panels would fit in this location. It's probably something we should do. I don't think I'm going to be increasing engines at any time. I mean, we could put them right through here. Let's check our production of gears and pipes, both sitting at 500K. Not likely to be, and we could always tear up solar panel builds, so let's kind of go in that area, I guess. Should I take these to GP station then? Though I was doing this for that other build, but you know, we'll have extras. GP station. Not PG station, that's petroleum gas. Oh, pipe gear is where we're going. And we need to pull that up. Otherwise we have red signals. Where are you going? Stop. PG station's to the right, buddy. Where do you think you were going, but so the stone on for this loading is just refusing to pull the stone. All these bots are pulling the copper from here. I mean, someday it will happen. And my train's going down here again. What is your freaking problem? Do I have to drive there manually? I don't want to drive backwards. That's a certain way to... Oh, crap, 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 crap. Oh, man, I didn't think that train was going to stop. You know what? No. PG station is petroleum gas once again. I was just going to the wrong place. I don't know if I have GP station in here. Maybe that's it right there. Yeah, it is GP station. Alright, I was just going to the wrong place. So many little acronyms to remember for all my different stations. Yes, you could name them the full names, but well, Windows not that big for stations. Train schedules. So suppose we can try to grab. switch armor. And then grab our blueprint. And it looks like it fits perfectly. There is some overlap of RoboPort. So instead of doing that, I guess we'll have to delete this blueprint and open our solar build. No, I can't, because this is just the generic. Let's see what we have here. Do I have a solar upgrade here? Yes, I do. So, our solar, is that the one? And then drop it on the upgrade planner. And now we have what we need. Oh, but I want to remove the RoboPort. Dink. There we go. And I just trapped myself. It's my build box, not big enough to cover everything. We have more on tree, which we can barely click on here. Grab those. Grab those. How are we on substation? We're good on substations. Build one more, and then we'll take the rest up to that other solar build. Gigawatts. trailers. Actually, not much I can do about it. The way I got the loading station or unloading station set is the train cars behind my engines, but we can adjust that when we get there. I think this looks better than one massive solar plant build. Or maybe the cleaner look is better. I mean, that looks pretty cool as is too. This copper ore doing 240K. It's been on the rise since we added more copper trains. So eventually, it's the Outpost back up. We'll get some extra trains sitting in the stacker. All right. So we need to, oops. This guy, whoa. Dang it! God, I was in the wrong one. I was in this one, not the. I was trying to control. It's not a big deal, but as long as I didn't lose them both. Just copy and paste, grab some of the fuel, and we're good. But man, careful. It's taking too long. Give me those. Well, at least we ended the blinking. The blinking. built petroleum gas recently. I'm just checking how things are doing down here. 400K average in those two bays. That's good. That's predominantly providing the sulfuric acid. In fact, I think it only provides the sulfuric acid. Which, are we doing anything? 400K sulfuric acid, which only does this battery build. And batteries was for accumulators. So that's 65,000, which was then for satellites. So this long ramp up for satellites. And well, blue circuit train, but 100K on hand, so it's not that big a deal. And it's low density structures, of course, once again. That is low on supplies. Not terribly concerned about satellites, though. That's going to back up. Like, see, because here's the train. It's sitting here. It's got nothing to unload. Gosh, what is the max quantity of a space science train? I think this space science should at least have one or low density. So this one, this. Let's copy that train. Oops. Oh, I need another train engine, folks. Do I have to grab one manually? And I'll grab one manually. Little arachnid crawling across my arm. I was wondering what was tickling me. Alright. Okay, so we have improved low density structures, some more solar panels. What do we need? Let's kind of check things out here. Still have one train waiting. I know it takes a little while for these stations to catch up. Let's check supplies. Well, of course, this one's out of steel. We need another steel train. Low density structures just takes huge quantities of steel. So we have one steel train sitting there waiting. But we have two empty bays. Curious how many trains are running nowadays. Been posting 350 on my stream, but I think it's either closer to 360, maybe even 365. Just add like at least 5 trains every episode. If you guys want to watch me count them. They don't have a counter anywhere I know in the game, so you literally gotta count the window here. And it's 5 per row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 36, 37, 38, 40, 41, 42, 43, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 75, 76, 77. We'll just go with 78. Calculators over there. 78 times 5. Wow, 390. Ooh, way more than I thought. 390. I'm just going to write that in chat so I don't forget that. That is something. Okay, so low density structures. Well, we've added more steel trains, but it's really, we're waiting on steel trains. I'm going to... really don't want to implement control of loading stations, but I think I'm going to. I mean, it's such small quantity. But steel's not going to flow to this station. Station 1 if the other 2 bays are empty. And I suppose we should label this one. No. Yeah. A little too high. A little too low. Wish you could kind of drag them. So we can get out and run this. We don't need our little guy to give us prompt ends. Okay, so to do this right, we need a dummy delivery station thingy. Where trains literally cannot get to. Don't really want to do it up here. But we really don't have the space over here. Right at the end of that. Could do it maybe at the end of, you know, 2 stations of the same name, like right after each other. Okay. Probably see me do this dozens of times, but I just said really could do anything, be anything, or ever, you know, anything greater than 0. We close that since red by itself is anything, or you just set it to the red. You can do red as well, and it would be the same thing. And then copy and paste these. Now with this signal permanently set to red, no train will ever be able to get to it. And we can potentially disable every station and no train's going to be affected. So what we do, basically we're just going to copy these. Actually, we don't need the minimum. But we do need, you don't, what's the way to say this? If the signal is not green, if green is not 1, basically, set it. Think about that. If green is, or let's just do it. This is yellow. Output E. And if one is less than or equal to A, output E. But we also want to require, did I connect that already? I probably did. To that, to that, to the station. Okay, so if that green to the front as well, or to the input. We're going to read stop train. I'll put as T. Take T, oops. I just forget that part. That needs to be an arithmetic combinator. So I'm going to reconnect these. Alright, so T times, whoops, -1, set, I'll put that as E. Don't think we got the station connected to that power pole, which we can't really see. God, this is so hard to read. It's not connected. It should be connected to the power pole. There we go. Then enable disable if E is greater than 0. I think even greater than equal to 0. Think about that. Maybe E is greater than 0. So if 1 is less than the average, then send supply output an E. If a train is incoming, output an E. And then if a train is here, take its number and times it -1 and output it as E. And that's why we have a negative 4 million, because all my trains have like 4 million numbers. So, but we need to wire this up to the poles. And to the signal, incoming signal. So if that incoming signal reads yellow, we output an E. We want to make sure that, so say this 1 is less than average, says, okay, send a train. And then while it's on its way, it suddenly changes and 1's no longer less than average. Then it would change to off. It would stop putting out its E. But if this light's yellow, that means the train's on its way, and keep it actually, if a train's in there but not to the station yet, we used to do this. I probably have deleted all my examples of it, so I probably have to figure this out. Pretty sure if I just say if green is, well, you can say not equal to 1, I'll put an E. But the fact that the train's sitting there will override 1 point. Okay, I think that's working. So that should be off. Now what we have to do, I shouldn't have erased that blueprint, but that's alright. Copy all this, because we also need those wires connected now to the signal. But we don't need inserters or chess. Inserters or chess. We do need all that. Technically, probably don't need the train track, but we'll leave it. And make sure I'm not jumping in front of a train. So I should be able to set this down, right? Maybe we have to remove the track. Let me get closer to the station. Should be able to go right down on top of the station. is connected, but this one wasn't wired to the same spot, and that's what was giving me the little grief. And we connect it up. We should be good. So 1 is less than average. So this should be activated, and it is. Of course, none of the other ones are set up yet. So plop this down there, there, there. We gotta wire this one manually. So is 2 less than average? Yeah. 2 is less than average. Okay. So, something's off here. These all can't be all activated. Oh, yes they can be. Because they're all set to station 1, and I forgot to change them all to their proper station numbers. Should be 3, 3, 3. Two and 2. Okay, so what's the matter here? Because they don't have connections to circuits. So these are connected, but the port one that makes the decision for average is not connected. Because I didn't copy that power pole, and anyways it would have been in the wrong spot for every single one of those. Now if I put down the blueprint for everything all at once, copy this entire blueprint in instead of doing each one individually or whatever. Alright, that one's connected, but alright, that seems to be working. Okay, so 3 is less than average. 2 is less than average. Well, 3 is kind of fluctuating. 3 is above average now. But we have a train pulling out, and this signal is red, so it stays open. But as soon as it pulls out of there, it should turn off. So 2 is the least. So this, if there's a steel train, which there's not. How's steel looking? Again, it's backed up. We have a number of plate trains available, but once again, steel's a problem. Did have an issue with the number of bots at these stations. Did I fix that? Can't remember exactly where I was seeing it. I thought it was here. I must have fixed it. This isn't right. 3 is above average, but all these are active. E's 1. Why is E1? 3 is less than equal to average. That's right. I'm sorry. It should only be 2 that's disabled. Sometimes I flip that in my head. So they're active if they're less than average, and they don't have a train parked there. So see how that one's fluctuating. It was going between above and below average. But if it, and that's can confuse the trains, but that's why we connect the signal. So if this did flip to yellow, it wouldn't flicker. Well, I think that's working. We can move on. Try to do something about steel once again. Silly arachnids on me again, crawling around my desk. Tickles the hairs on my arms. It's not really crawling on me. I don't know. It just brushes by me as it goes by. there's a number of control thingies up. Could work on cleaning up some stuff. This was for my artillery train to turn around. Don't need it anymore because I created one back at the base. Whoa, there's a big old 21 million patch right there. It looks like it's moving. Pixels and stuff. I suppose it could be like the brush moving in the wind. Well, one of the things I demonstrated episode or two back was we could do a direct insertion miner to iron plate smelter to steel. The real question was what to then do with the steel, because I wouldn't want, random outposts trying to load steel from there. I'd want to take it to a central location. So the thing to do, I think, would be to take the steel and put it in as if it were iron and just simply unload it at one of these. It wouldn't need any processing. It would just simply get transferred from the input to the to the requester chest. It would be maybe strange in that case, or specifically create outposts that are simply that. There'd be a transfer station. Kind of wish you could take a train and give it new instructions, and then another train and give it the instructions to go pick up, but literally you'd have to just I don't think you can do track to track transfers. You might be able to do it with like long arm inserters or something. Kind of forgot about this build, but yeah. Can straighten this track out now. I guess there's a little patch way up here that I suppose I can be taking up the track as I run. I didn't think so. I knew we'd have radar on them, but it's just double checking. the rest of that station in a minute. I'll straighten this track. Suspect we got power going all the way around, so I'm not cutting power if I pull these power poles. It would help if I wait till the bots pick these up, though. Mining productivity 500. Man, it lags. Suddenly I'm at like 8 UPS. The heck. I don't know. Never been down to 10 UPS before. If I can pull that power pole. Nope. I don't know. Well, Daniel, thank you so much for the subscription on YouTube, I guess. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't see in channel, but you may hear it here on the recording on YouTube someday. So, again, thanks very much. And that would be Daniel Martinez. There's lots of Daniels in the world. Oops, there's no power right here. This is a pretty big ore outpost at one point. Nothing lasts forever. lack of signals in this area. If I can get my train to stop. And this area is blinking. It means I probably don't have a storage chest down there. I'm gonna run it. I wonder if I should do this. I should be ready to like blitz out of here. And I need to drop one construction bot. Those bots taking stuff from my personal stash or trash slots. Right. Sure signals are okay. Yes, it's a little weak right there, but it's okay. Is there some sort of cotton coal in this area? Must have been. Gone now. This bothers me. The UPS just keeps dropping. Really don't know what I can do. I mean, I watched somebody else play their Megabase, and they're at like 11,000 rockets, and they were running at 60 UPS. He said to, increase RAM for my computer, but, last time I opened up Task Manager, crashed my game, so I'm going to save before I do that. And Factorio's stuck again. Oh, it didn't crash though. So Factorio is using close to 5 gigabytes. That's only 70% of my memory of 16 gigabytes. And let's see how increasing that's going to help. And CPU is only at 20%. Factorio is only using 6 of that, 7% of that, or 7% of total. Yeah, I'm not sure. But, they might have been running more of a bot map than I do. I didn't see him doing any belts, so as I, shift from belts, maybe it's going to help me. And I think they were doing strictly solar. I saw them sticking up a ton of solar, so maybe that's something I do is switch more to a solar build. I mean, currently my nuclear produces 12 gigawatts. I don't know if I can completely turn off nuclear yet. I mean, I do as much as 26 gigawatts, so that's really more than double. I've seen as much as 26 gigawatts on this stream, so it's possible I can, maybe disable nuclear. I can grab a pile of, I don't have to have the advanced ones, but we'll take advanced. Then we'll go around, let's see. I'll make a handful of power switches. Let's go up to nuclear here. So we look at power lines coming in and going. We want to, problem is things like this. You got a radar station there. If you disable power, technically I suppose the nuclear could be supplying just the radar. Come on, bots. So we remove this. And what we're going to need is a handful of copper cable. What we do is we cut that. Then we put a that here. And a power switch. And then we run the copper cable from here to the power switch. Oops. Then we give it a circuit. To the accumulator. I think accumulators are A. If A is less than 20, set. Enabled if A is less than 20. So currently A is, if we put this out like so, A is 4. So that's going to be connected. And we do the same thing. Copy that. May not work in every case. Or we can put down that pole anyways. Put that there. And then move this And add it to that. And we got to we can just remove that power pole and the one up above it. And we can just remove that one. And I think we can remove that one. So we can see A got above 20 here, and now that line's red. And we're going to see the steam here is off. Even though there's steam in the tanks, the flow of power to the base is off. You know, maybe a little steam will get used for the radar, but it's going to be so minor. If I actually brought solar panel along, we wouldn't need to do that, but so, and these ones are now off. I like these red lines versus green lines. It really translates well. And we have a couple more we can run to, right where we were doing solar before. Copper train we set up yesterday. Hard at work. A little busy intersection. Track. I'll be able to run out before that train accelerates if it's heading north, which it's not. So let's set click that one off. Yep. So I'll be on, but I have to disconnect. Oops, I don't want to run through the thing. It's not as easy. Just pop that power pole. Actually, popping that one and that one. That's right, we can that. You can actually, you know what, if I just do shift click that, do the same thing. There we go. Remove that guy though. It's already up to 20. It is. So these ones will be off. Now, typically I like to control the pumps, but this is just one connection, so it's, where nuclear has pumps all over the place. For steam plants or something early on, I prefer to do the pump. I'm not going to run to those. We have stations there. This is a situation where I didn't understand rail signals. Literally got a train waiting forever to get into that section because there's no rail signals. Until the train had completely pulled out. Why not let it move up ahead of time? So this is the copper. These two are just to use up excess copper and iron, or that when I take apart a station or something, I get extra iron or copper. But that thing's working because we're doing this here. But once this is used up, see, there goes one down there. We won't do that anymore. All right, so this is station 1.4 gigawatt nuclear plants. I don't know if I have it in here anymore. It might be. There we go. This one gets fuel carried to it from way up here. Actually, both these do. So we need to, let's just do it from that one there. Kind of precarious, but right. Then we use that power line. Actually, let's leave that power line. But we don't want this one to there, or this one to there, nor this one to there. This one will go to there. And then we just need to remove that. This isn't needed. I think we might have had a train or something in there at one point. Those robo ports aren't really needed. Leave them alone, because they're really connected to the main base. That's not needed. And those aren't needed. And now we should just see the steam turn off there. as those go dormant. And the steam will fill up because those nuclear plants are on, and so are those ones. But once they fill up, I assume this will all turn off. Not sure exactly. I didn't design them. And I think this is the first time I've ever gone into disabling them. I guess I did come here by train. Let's get back on them. Now, will this fix my UPS problem? Just disabling them, I don't think will. And in fact, ripping them up, I don't know how much it will really save. But by disabling them, then they're not processing, I would hope, a whole lot more. Or, I mean, it'd be processing less, theoretically, I think. I don't know. First off, I really want to just see if I can get by on solar. At that point, I might disable nuclear. We have some other nuclear stations we can go to. I probably should work through the south first. I believe this is next. Z Nuke Plant 5. May or may not be in here. Z and Nuke Plant 5 station. So currently we are producing still 7.2 gigawatts of power with nuclear. Almost knocked it down half. Well, our stacker for LDS has jammed up because this still tried to get there. It should not do that. Well, we need to fix that, but I guess since we're here, we'll deal with this. We have two power sections. Let's disconnect the one from the top. In fact, I will disconnect the other one too, and I will set the other, I mean, by the station. One goes to radar, so I'll just leave it alone. Let's put a power. I guess that works. Where's my cover cable? There it is. Let's remove that one. That one. So our accumulators are they not enough to hold? So our nuclear plants just came back online. This could be a problem, actually. I mean, our solar's picking back up. If that goes to 0, I think I'm in trouble. Not permanently, but because we do have quite a bit of solar. It is somewhat disconcerting, though. That's still producing 1.5 gigawatts. It's quickly dropping down to 0 though, so we should be good. Just barely though. I don't get it. This max is 26 or 12 nuclear, and I know I've seen like 26. I mean, this is just continuing to go up. I don't get why my accumulators can't support the entire base. Am I going to be in trouble come the next night cycle? We're still going up and up and up. Like, if this really got to 24, or at least double the I'm gonna disable this one right here. We'll have to come back to it. We got other problems to deal with. I'm just going to connect that back up. I'm going to go fix that situation. Am I in the train? No. I'm going to go to LDS station and fix that problem. Though I am sort of pleased. Oh, never mind. The stacker's not big enough. Handle all that. Get why the train flowed to there. Signal's red. Why did it even try? Why did it even try? somewhere along here it's got to have a green signal, and it doesn't. These signals are green. Why would it try? I know these signals can turn green. I mean, you know, there's a rail signal. Why did this train try to go there? I've never had that problem before. Somebody's going to run into me. Guess maybe I should have done something like that. So I've done a chain signal first. Not sure. Wait, so let's back you up. Can I send them to here? Yes. So should go in this bay here. Why did it click? Right. This should be reading the yellow. One green not equal to 1 should also be E. So why is it fritzing out? Three is less than A. No. So why is this even active at all? Three less than A, no. Why is this up? This has got two green signals. Ugh. These two lines are crossed. So like that on these other ones too. Can I disconnect them with... Oh. I gotta run there. Whoops. What happens when circuits cross? You get bad information. Well, you guys get to see an example of doing it wrong. So, there's actually no train spot for that copper. So I'll just have to pull them in and then send them on its way, or just let them sit there. That's probably the better option. Send them there. Yeah, let's just enable, disable that. And then send them in. And then once he's parked, we'll re-enable this. Actually, ought to be able to just do that, and it'd still be good because he's in the station and the light wasn't green. Now he's parked there. And then we gotta add more to the stacker because we never want. You always have to have enough room for every train to get in there. Otherwise, you get a possible situation like we just had. Now, the problem is this thing. This is just in a bad location. Oh, well, I guess we could always re-grab that blueprint. Nope. We need to also get train station names there. Blueprint. And I gotta find somewhere else to put that. I don't really know where, but let's find another spot that's also in this system. So if I put that, man, why is opening a blueprint just lagging? You know, there should be no way we're trying to get there. We will even put a cheat signal there. Just no way a train should get there. Alright, now we can add to the stacker. Trees blocking me. Let's dial in the stacker first. Okay. Pop some track. Some power poles. Alright, it's 5 more spots. Stacker. Train incoming. Don't want to play chicken. I was pretty sure it was going in the middle, but alright, so 3 is less than average. Good. So all these bays are open, and these ones aren't. Of course, most of them have trains unloading. So notice how these ones change color, but this one stayed available because there was that train on the way and that light was not green, it was yellow. Well, since we had that little snag there, I was hoping the steel had caught up, but it has not. Still must do something about that. Steel's, it's not really iron that's the problem there. And there's iron trains. Check out iron supply, 200K average in the north. South probably ought to be pretty good with that many ore trains sitting there. another 200K average. So we really got 1.6 million in both the north and south. You know, not having as many iron trains sitting ready to unload as a number of bays means they're sitting there instead of unloading. So maybe another train or two. That's coming from our special. So this is a southern train. I have enough trains to, enough engines and stuff to start another train here without traveling back to base. Oops. Why it rotated on me, but okay. And is there enough fuel here? Oops. Paste that in. That's going to iron load south. Send it directly instead of do a waypoint. But we'll need to go back to base. Get supplies for another one. We want that one next. That's a northern loading train. Arachnid's really on me. Go in the trash there, Mr. Arachnid. It's probably Mrs. Arachnid. I think the men get eaten in that tribe of insect. Now I feel like stuff's crawling all over me, but it's just that one bug. So this is a cool system. That way the least one gets stuff. Now with proper stackers where the right type of train, you split the stackers by inputs, like I did with my red circuits, then you can control each one of these individually. So you're not controlling by outpost, you're controlling by type. So like if we look at my red circuit build, we have stackers for each type, the 3 inputs, and then the output train. You can literally control by the type, what's available. I don't think I'm actually doing that. That was a plan. But as long as you have enough supplies, you don't have to do what I just implemented on the low density structures. Alright, so we were going to put in another train for our steel. And we added another outpost and 2 new trains, but we didn't add any more iron trains to help supply that steel. So was a little short-sighted on our part. Well, even though when we counted trains earlier, we weren't quite at 390. We're definitely at it now. We've started at least a couple more. And that's what we were short on. So 390 trains. My title for this, for the last few episodes, I've been underestimating it apparently. So even though we have like 200K average, one of the problems with this is even though we got plenty on hand, these stations don't activate necessarily if the station that they're picking up at isn't above average. Oh my goodness, look at power. So, one of the things I guess I need to do is some more, this is full, some more solar. Let's connect that. Stick that there, copy and paste. We can grab all those. Alright, so where would we like to set up? Obviously we can set up solar in this region. We're not likely to put any kind of builds here. Can't look around though. There's definitely places we can put stuff that we're not likely to ever put anything. Maybe like here, this battery build, if we had to expand it, we're going to need the new blueprint, but this will fit there. So we could put 4 like right there next to LDS. What am I thinking here? Where'd my brain just go? I was thinking like 2 things at once and I lost my track. Well, we can go to LDS. We already fixed, okay. Put stuff there. You know, someday, you know, you want to think you'd mine this stuff, but you just have coal everywhere. That it's really, coal's not as important as power. Though coal can be used for power. This is connected, right? I'll make sure the solar panels I do have are connected. At least the new ones. I know the old ones are. They're well connected. Slow down, train. Stop as fast as you do when you just reach the end of your track. You're doing it manually. Alright, so we need to copy these blueprints by hand. Change error. Power anywhere in here, so red science is not likely to change anytime, so let's just connect there. Other car wheels, so overload on wood. Since I'm having problems with the accumulators, oops, accumulators. I wonder if sticking 4 in the middle where robo ports go, it's not such a bad idea. Let's copy this guy. Oops. We need more substations. More panels. And then the bots need power. Why does it look like I'm giving them power, but nobody's flying about? It's weird. I'm clicking on a ton of them. Oh, that's what's happening. I'm out of space. Let's stick half those. So I'm literally just dropping all those bots. Better. Really, trees. I think I have enough for another build easily. missing? Solar panels. Let's go to solar. I'm surprised I was sitting there, didn't back up this more. Blacklist, roboports, substations, and radar. And then we can slap down some replacements. There's nothing here for now, so we don't need to do that. It's still unloading. The potential's here for this to do quite a bit. But the accumulators, I don't know. I know I haven't tried to go all solar yet, so this is kind of my first attempt at it. I've been working towards it, kind of slowly, but because to make these elite pieces, takes a lot of kind of resources, whatever. And this isn't activated unless space sciences to a certain point. Well, hey, Zombie. What would I do differently? Well, it's a really good question. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't go the same path I went to get to my stage now. I have better outposts than I originally did. Like here's my rocket fuel build. This is, I mean, it's working for my on-base space science, but I kind of like my current. I probably would have gone to a outpost like I'm doing now for rocket fuel. It's been a while since you've been with me. You probably haven't seen my new rocket fuel builds. But basically I take crude oil in and process it all down to rocket fuel. So I would definitely be more outpost oriented with a simplistic goal in mind. You may not have known I'm also doing petroleum gas the same way. Bring crude oil in and everything becomes petroleum gas. I'm not outputting, lubricant or anything else here. I'm just making petroleum gas. And so I've got a double side refineries. All of it goes into petroleum gas, and then you just take that petroleum gas and you do whatever you need with it. Like in this case, make sulfuric acid. I have a sulfuric acid outpost that brings in petroleum gas. And it has enough on hand. I'm not trying to pipe it everywhere. It's literally bring it in by train. And if I need more petroleum gas, I make another petroleum gas outpost. Instead of doing a spaghetti refinery, this was my original plastic build. Let's bring in some refineries, bring in coal, try to do everything all in one place. And so I literally have, belts of, because these pipes couldn't supply all this thing. So I have belts of barrels of petroleum gas to try to keep it all going. And right now it's backed up because I've gone with a different method. I now do a plastic outpost that brings in petroleum gas on both sides. And just do that. I'm not piping it in, I'm not refining it here. I'm just bringing in petroleum gas and the coal necessary for plastic, and this works so much better. So it's a different take on things. It's way simpler, So I literally have 5 petroleum gas outposts, and that's all they do is they bring in crude oil and ship out petroleum gas. Simple. Just dead simple. If you need more petroleum gas, you just grab this blueprint up, slap it down somewhere, connect some water, and bring in some trains of crude oil. It's simple, simple, simple. I think I would try to plan maybe a little sooner to take my iron and copper outposts, and I might not go to 8 bays. I would probably maybe try to do a 4-bay system and do more of them, like put them out further around. An 8-bay system is it works, but I think a 4-bay system probably works maybe a little better. I'm not sure. V from Factorio developers has a system of where trains all sort of talk to each other somehow. And so if one, so I did say I did a bunch of these 4 Outpost iron, you literally create, I don't know your question, you're probably asking, you see what I'm saying and talking about 20 seconds after I say it, so I'm not quite sure where you're talking from. And you might have been getting the answer to when I was starting to say is V has a system where he doesn't assign trains to any one specific outpost. Literally, a place that needs green circuit goes to whichever green circuit has the most available, somewhat based on distance, somewhat based on quantity at that outpost, things like that. And that's a level of circuits above where I'm I'm at. I assign things specifically to specific stations. But like if I had a ton of iron ore trains sitting in here, well then other iron ore trains coming here would realize, oh, there's a big backup. Well, let's see if there's another iron ore or iron facility that's not so backed up. Why don't we go there instead? So like here's an example. Here's 10 or so iron ore trains waiting to unload. Well, another one coming here wouldn't go here. It would go up here where there's only like 3 waiting. It's a different kind of programming, or circuits, but literally means you've got wires going through the whole base, and they're all sort of talking to each other. And someday I'm going to have to open up V's base and really dive into that. But I kind of like going my own route too, because I figure things out as I go. But I don't think I quite understand circuits to the level of the developers. They built this game for themselves, and and then of course we get to play it because it's fun. But when they add something to the game, it's because they have a problem in their current play or something, and they're like, well, let's try to come up with a solution to it, and they figure it out, and